All right, so have you ever had like the same dream like over and over again?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Totally. Yeah, it's one of those things that, you hear people talk about, like, oh, I
Oh,
had this weird dream, and then sometimes it's like a one-off.
right.
But then there are these other ones where it's like, whoa, I keep having the same dream.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels like it means something, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today.
Okay, awesome.
We're talking about recurring dreams,
Okay.
and we're looking at it from a Jungian psychology perspective.
All right. So Carl Jung, for those who haven't gone deep into psychology.
Yeah, he's a pretty prominent figure.
Yeah, he's like a big name in psychology.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of sources that are kind of looking at recurring dreams through this lens.
Okay, cool.
And what's really interesting is that a lot of these sources point to the significance of recurring dreams as like messages from the unconscious.
Oh, okay.
So it's like your inner self is trying to tell you something
Right.
through these repeated stories and images.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to deep dive into today.
Yeah.
We're going to try to figure out why you might be having the same dream over and over and what your psyche might be trying to communicate.
That is so cool. Okay, so let's get into it.
All right.
So like, first of all, why are recurring dreams considered so important in Jungian psychology?
Well, the fact that a dream keeps replaying itself
Right.
with similar themes, scenarios, emotions,
Yeah.
that repetition is a huge sign in Jungian psychology.
Okay.
It's like your unconscious is really trying to get your attention
Got it.
about something important, something that maybe you're overlooking in your waking life.
So it's not just like random brain activity happening while you're asleep.
Exactly. It's not just noise. It's like a purposeful message.
Okay.
It's your psyche's attempt to work something out, to resolve an inner conflict, or to prepare you for some sort of growth or transformation.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we get into some examples? Because I feel like this is all very theoretical right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make it practical.
Okay, perfect.
So one common recurring dream theme is being chased by an aggressor.
Okay.
Someone's chasing you, you're running away.
I've had that dream.
Yeah, me too. It's
Yeah.
a pretty common one.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is. And, in Jungian psychology, that often ties into the concept of the shadow.
Okay, the shadow.
Yeah, those parts of ourselves that we reject or deny.
Right, the stuff we don't like about ourselves.
Exactly. So the dream could be a sign that you're struggling with those rejected parts of yourself.
Oh, so it's like you're trying to outrun a part of yourself.
Yeah, in a way. And that never works out, does it?
Not usually.
No. Okay.
So what about those dreams where you lose control?
Oh, yeah, those are common too.
Yeah, like you can't steer a car or your teeth are falling out.
Yeah, the classic teeth falling out dream.
Yeah, what do those mean?
Well, often they reflect anxieties about feeling inadequate or powerless in your waking life.
Okay, so like you feel like you're not in control of your life.
Exactly. And the teeth falling out specifically can be linked to anxieties about communication or a loss of personal power.
Wow, that's so interesting. I never would have thought of that.
It's amazing what the unconscious can reveal.
It really is. Okay, so what about those dreams where you're back in school and you have to take an exam,
Ah, yes, the dreaded exam dream.
even though you're like way past school?
Yeah, it's like your psyche is still testing you.
Oh, okay.
Those dreams often tap into issues of self-evaluation, that pressure to perform, to meet expectations, whether they're your own or someone else's.
Right, so it's like you're still being judged even in your dreams.
In a way, yes, it's about how you perceive your own competence and abilities.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, right.
So those are some examples of like common situations.
Right.
What about like places? Because our sources also talk about recurring dreams that feature specific locations.
Absolutely. Places can be very symbolic in dreams.
Okay, so like what if you keep dreaming about your childhood home?
That's a really interesting one.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, the childhood home often represents the foundation of your personality. Those early experiences that shaped who you are.
Right.
So dreaming about it could suggest a need to reconnect with those early resources or maybe to heal some old emotional wounds from your past.
Oh, wow. So it's like going back to your roots.
Exactly. It's about understanding where you came from and how those early experiences are still affecting you today.
I like that. Okay, what about dreams where you're in a maze or you keep encountering closed doors?
Those can be frustrating dreams.
They sound like it, yeah.
And that feeling of being stuck or blocked often reflects similar feelings in your waking life.
Okay.
Maybe you're feeling lost or confused about your direction in life. Or maybe you're facing obstacles that you don't know how to overcome.
So the dream is kind of mirroring that.
Exactly. It's showing you those inner barriers that you need to address.
Interesting. Okay, and then there's the classic flying versus falling dreams.
Yeah, those are really intriguing ones.
I feel like everyone has those at some point.
Yeah, they're pretty universal, and they often represent opposite themes.
Okay, so like what does it mean if you're flying in your dream?
Flying dreams often symbolize a sense of freedom and liberation.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like you're transcending limitations, you're rising above challenges.
Right.
It can be a really empowering dream.
Okay, and falling.
Falling dreams are more about a loss of control,
Yeah, that makes sense.
a fear of failure, or a sense of insecurity.
Like your life is spiraling out of control.
Exactly. It's a feeling of being ungrounded or unsupported.
Okay, so those are pretty different interpretations.
Yeah, they really are, but they both speak to our deep-seated desires and fears.
Okay, so we've talked about situations and places. What about the characters that show up in our dreams?
Yes, those are crucial too. Jung identified several archetypal figures that appear in dreams.
Oh, okay, archetypes, so like universal symbols.
Yeah, exactly. These are figures that represent fundamental human experiences.
Okay, so who are some of these archetypal characters?
Well, one common one is the mother.
Okay, so if you dream about your mom.
It could be about your actual mother, but it could also be about the mother archetype.
What does that mean?
The mother archetype represents the nurturing and caring aspects of our psyche,
Okay.
but it can also represent the overprotective or smothering aspects.
Oh, so it depends on the context of the dream.
Exactly how you feel about the mother figure in the dream will give you clues about what your unconscious is trying to communicate.
Got it. Okay, what about dreaming about a child?
The child archetype often represents your own inner child.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's that part of you that's playful, innocent, and full of wonder.
I like that.
Dreaming about a child could suggest a need to reconnect with that inner child, to nurture your sense of joy and creativity.
Oh, that's nice. Okay,
Yeah.
what about like a wise old man or woman?
That's the wise old man or wise old woman archetype.
Okay.
And it represents your inner wisdom, your intuition, and your connection to something larger than yourself.
Oh, wow. So if that character shows up in your dream.
It could be a sign that you need to listen to your inner voice to trust your gut.
Okay, that's really cool. And finally, what about the lover archetype?
Yes. The lover.
That one seems a bit more complicated.
It is a bit more complex because in Jungian psychology, the lover often represents the anima or animus.
Okay, the anima and animus.
Yeah, those are terms Jung used to describe the unconscious feminine side in men and the unconscious masculine side in women.
Oh, so it's like the opposite gender energy within us.
Exactly. And the lover archetype can symbolize our desire for wholeness, for integration of these opposite qualities within ourselves.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Okay, so we've explored a lot of these common themes in recurring dreams.
We have.
But how do we actually make sense of them? Like, how do we apply this to our own lives?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is, because it feels like a lot of this is open to interpretation.
It is, and that's where personal context comes in.
Okay, so like my dream of being chased might mean something different than your dream of being chased.
Exactly. The same dream symbol can have different meanings for different people.
Right, because our experiences are different.
Exactly. So there's no one-size-fits-all interpretation.
So how do we figure out what our dreams mean to us?
Well, there are some helpful questions you can ask yourself.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, what are you experiencing in the dream?
Okay, so like what's happening? What are the emotions?
Yeah, all the details, the sights, sounds, feelings.
Got it.
Then ask yourself, what seems to threaten your integrity in the dream?
Oh, okay, like what's the danger? What am I afraid of?
Exactly. And then ask yourself, what challenge are you trying to overcome in the dream?
So like what's the obstacle? What am I struggling with?
Right. And then maybe the most important question towards what does the dream seem to push you?
Okay, so like what's the message? What am I supposed to learn from this?
Yeah, it's about identifying the potential for growth or change that the dream is hinting at.
Okay, that's really helpful. So it's about looking at the dream as a guide.
Exactly. It's like your unconscious is offering you clues.
I like that.
Yeah.
And our sources even have an example of how this works in practice, right?
Yes, they talk about a young woman who kept having dreams about a tsunami.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
It was, and these dreams started when she found out she was unexpectedly pregnant.
Oh, wow. So a huge life change.
Exactly. And through exploring her feelings and the timing of the dreams, she realized that the tsunami was a symbol for the overwhelming emotions she was experiencing.
Okay, so the tsunami represented her fear and anxiety about becoming a mother.
Exactly. And once she understood that connection, it helped her process those emotions and eventually embrace her new role as a mother.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's like the dream was helping her work through this huge transition.
Exactly. It was a way for her unconscious to communicate those deep-seated feelings.
That's really powerful. Okay, so now I want to talk about Carl Jung's overall perspective on dream interpretation.
Okay, sure.
Like, what was his basic philosophy when it came to dreams?
Well, Jung believed that dreams are not just random but meaningful messages from the unconscious.
Okay, so he took them seriously.
Oh, absolutely. He saw them as a crucial part of psychological development. He believed that the unconscious uses dreams to communicate important information to the conscious mind.
So it's like a bridge between those two parts of ourselves.
Exactly. And he often used the term royal road to describe dream interpretation.
A royal road.
Yeah, he saw it as the most direct path to understanding the unconscious.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement.
It is, but Jung really believed in the power of dreams to reveal our deepest selves.
Okay, so he wasn't just messing around.
No, he was very serious about dreams.
Okay, so besides being meaningful messages, Jung also talked about different levels of interpretation, right?
He did. He said that dreams can be understood on both a personal level and an archetypal level.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Well, the personal level is all about your individual experiences,
Yeah.
your memories, your current concerns.
Right, so like the dream symbols are connected to my specific life.
Exactly. And the archetypal level is more about universal human experiences.
Okay.
It's about those shared patterns and symbols that appear in myths, fairy tales, and religions across cultures.
So like the hero's journey or the wise old sage.
Exactly. Those are archetypes.
Okay, so the same dream symbol could have both a personal meaning and an archetypal meaning.
Exactly. You can operate on both levels simultaneously.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And Jung also talked about different functions of dreams, right?
He did. He said that dreams serve two main functions, the compensatory function and the perspective function.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Well, the compensatory function means that dreams help to balance out our psyche.
Okay.
They bring to light those aspects of ourselves that we're neglecting or repressing in our waking lives.
So like if I'm being too controlling in my waking life, I might have a dream about being totally out of control.
Exactly. That's the compensatory function at work.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the perspective function?
The perspective function is about preparing us for the future.
Okay.
Jung believed that dreams can sometimes anticipate future events or psychological developments.
This is like they're giving us a glimpse of what's to come.
Exactly. It's like our unconscious is trying to guide us towards our destiny.
Wow, that's a really cool idea. Okay, so we've talked about the meaning of dreams and the different levels and functions.
Yeah.
But how do we actually go about interpreting them, especially those recurring dreams?
Well, Jung developed a method called amplification.
Amplification.
Yeah. It's about expanding on the dream images.
Okay,
So you start by focusing on a particular symbol or image from the dream,
right.
and then you explore all the possible associations you have with that image.
Okay, so like what does this image remind me of? What does it make me think of?
Exactly. And you can also look at how that image has been used in myths, fairy tales, and art throughout history.
Oh, wow. So you're kind of researching the symbol.
In a way, yes, you're trying to understand its deeper meaning.
Okay, and what's the goal of this amplification process?
The goal is to open up a dialogue between the conscious and unconscious mind.
Okay.
It's not about finding one right answer, but about exploring the multiple layers of meaning that the dream might hold.
So it's about deepening our understanding of ourselves.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a journey of self-discovery.
I like that. Okay, so if I were working with a Jungian practitioner on my recurring dreams, how would they guide me through this process?
Well, first, they would probably ask you to describe the dream in detail.
Yeah.
They would want to hear about the images, the emotions, the overall atmosphere.
Right, so they're really getting a clear picture of the dream.
Exactly. And then they might guide you through some free association exercises.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically saying whatever comes to mind when you think about a certain dream symbol.
Oh, okay. So there's like brainstorming.
Yeah, it's about letting your thoughts flow freely without censorship.
Okay.
And then the practitioner might help you connect the dream symbols to your current life situation.
Right, because the dream is often reflecting something that's happening in our waking lives.
Exactly. And they might also point out any archetypal patterns or themes that are emerging.
Okay, so they're helping you see the bigger picture.
Exactly. And the most important thing is that they're not giving you the answers.
Oh, okay, so they're not telling you what your dream means?
No, their role is to facilitate your own understanding.
So the power to interpret the dream ultimately lies with the dreamer.
Exactly. It's about empowering you to access your own inner wisdom.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the ultimate goal of working with recurring dreams?
Well, the goal is to integrate the unconscious message into your conscious life.
Okay, so once you understand what the dream is trying to tell you,
Uh-huh.
you can start to make changes.
Exactly. And as you do that, the dream itself often transforms or disappears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the unconscious no longer needs to send that message.
So the recurring dream was like a wake-up call.
Exactly. It was trying to get your attention about something important.
And once you address that issue, the dream goes away.
Exactly. It's like a problem that's been solved.
That's really encouraging. Okay, so what are some practical steps we can take to work with our recurring dreams?
Well, keeping a dream journal is always a good idea.
Okay, so like writing down your dreams as soon as you wake up.
Exactly, and try to capture as much detail as possible. And then you can start to look for patterns and themes over time.
Okay.
You can also try dialoguing with the dream characters.
Oh, that's interesting, like having a conversation with them.
Yeah, ask them questions, try to understand their motivations.
Okay.
And you can also try rewriting the dream.
Rewriting it.
Yeah, imagine a different ending or a different outcome.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a way of taking control of the dream
Yeah.
and exploring different possibilities.
I like that. And the main thing is to pay attention to those recurring dreams.
Absolutely, they're trying to tell you something important.
All right, so to wrap things up for our listeners,
Yeah.
we've learned that recurring dreams are not just random, but meaningful messages from our unconscious.
Right.
They often reflect unresolved issues or point us towards potential growth and transformation.
Exactly.
And by exploring those dreams through a Jungian lens, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So if you've been having the same dream over and over again, don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Pay attention to it, explore it,
Yeah.
maybe even write it down in a dream journal.
Good advice.
And who knows, you might just unlock some amazing insights about yourself.
That's the beauty of dream work.
It really is. All right, well, that was a fascinating deep dive into recurring dreams.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, happy dreaming, everyone.
Sweet dreams.
All right, bye.